Today, I'm making an Argentinian deep dish stuffed pizza just filled with mozzarella cheese and topped with charred onions. All right, this is gonna be so good. To get started, we need to activate our yeast to start the pizza dough. So let's do it. All right, so I'm adding 2 teaspoons of sugar to this. Now I'm gonna add 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. So what's gonna happen here is the sugar is going to activate the yeast. Some road rage out there. Just mix this together, and it's really important that you use lukewarm milk. While we're waiting on this to foam up, we can start on the dough. So I have about 2 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour here. To that, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna mix the dry ingredients real quick, because this is the easiest way to distribute like salt and sugar through your dough, is add it before you add the wet ingredients. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm gonna mix that thoroughly as well. And now it is time for our yeast. Look just how bubbly this is now. It looks so weird. All right, I'm gonna add all this goodness. And then I'm gonna start adding water little bit by little bit. As you can see, it's like very shaggy right now, and the water is just gonna start to bring this together. This water is lukewarm, again, by the way. We don't want it to be too hot or we can still kill our yeast. And too cold, and the yeast is gonna have trouble activating. Yeah, this is like still a little bit too shaggy for me. We need just a tiny bit of water so it can start absorbing these little bits of flour left. Adding more water is always a dangerous game. There's like a very fine line between not enough and too much. I think mine needs a little bit more oil. All right, so here's what our finished ball of dough looks like. I also put some olive oil around the sides of the bowl so it won't stick to the bowl. We're gonna let this rise for an hour. I'm gonna cover it with tin foil and just leave it on the counter so it's warm, it'll rise faster. And I like to just taste a little bit of the dough just so you know what you're working with. Next, I'm gonna do another step. So the key characteristics of this thing is that it is absolutely stuffed with mozzarella cheese. And then the other key is the onion topping. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna thinly slice this, and then I'm gonna soak it in salt water for about 30 minutes. Apparently, according to Argentinians, this is key. And if you don't do this, then I'd probably get a lot of nasty YouTube comments. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna take our onions, and we're gonna drop them in the water. All right, so we're waiting for our dough to rise. We're waiting on our onions to soak for 30 minutes. Then we're gonna take the water out. We're gonna dry them. So you have like half an hour to chill, read a book, take a shower, do whatever you want.
A few moments later.
Oh, time to check our bread. Look how much this has grown. Wow, this is huge. Comes away from the bowl really easily too, since we oiled it. We are going to tear it in 2. Hopefully equal sizes. And we're gonna make one be the bottom of our pizza. We're gonna roll it out, fit it to the pan, and then the top, we're gonna put the filling on top of that. Then we're gonna seal it with this second one. And then we're gonna put the toppings on top of that. So for the bottom, I don't think we wanna roll it out. That'll push out a lot of the air that the yeast has created. So I think we just want to try and spread this in the pan. And it's a great dough. It's like so stretchy, and it's not like too resistant to being spread out either. Oh, and just a quick note. You can put a stainless steel skillet in the oven, but it does depend on what material the handle is made out of. If you have a plastic handle, you should not put that in the oven. And sometimes you still can't put it in the oven, even if you have a metal handle, depending on whatever like non-stick coating is in the pan. So make sure you look at your pan and see if it says if you can put it in the oven or not. A cast iron skillet is ideal because that works great, it conducts heat really well, and that can always go in the oven. I'm just pulling up the edges because I want to make sure none of this cheese leaks out. I want to keep it all right here, keep all that flavor inside, and that's just gonna be amazing. We are gonna add our filling, so I'm gonna put just tons of slices of mozzarella in here, as much as you can fit. Yeah, anywhere there's space, we're gonna put more mozzarella there. I wanna keep this thing even too. You don't want any side to be bigger than the other, so I'm just gonna start crumbling it now at the top. So, if you're going traditional, the only thing you put in the middle is mozzarella. You could add spinach or ham, but I'm gonna add a little extra flavor here. I have this Spanish goat cheese called Drunken Goat, because they soak the rind in wine. And I just think this is just gonna add a little bit of an extra punch to it. All right, now I have to roll this out to match the other one, so we can close it. So this one, I think we roll, because we can get like a crispier top, right? The bottom will be thicker now, and then the top will be just enough to encase this thing. So I had a little bit extra. I'm just gonna go around and tuck the top under the bottom. I'm just gonna flatten it one more time, spread it all over the pan. All right, all that's left is the toppings. So first, I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit more olive oil over the top of this. So first, going Parmesan, garlic. So I minced a few cloves. I just love garlic. I also looked it up. Apparently Argentina is one of the world's largest exporters of garlic. Some rosemary, fresh rosemary. Hopefully you can't hear that leaf blower, but you probably can. Sorry in advance. Some oregano. Finally, what makes it fugazzeta is these onions. And we're gonna go heavy with these onions. Hit the sides of the little Parmesan. All right, now put it in the oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes or until it's done. I don't know what that is in Celsius. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, this looks so good.
Oh my god. Yeah, the sirens are necessary. This is that good. Oh my gosh. This is like top 5 pizzas I've ever had. It's just so good. Thank you, Argentina. Like, comment, and subscribe to Argentina. Not even me. Subscribe to Argentina. See you next time. Oh man, you gotta love that.